So let me explain why, based on this visual, it's sort of hard to deny that the Nashville labor market is weak. And this trend exists really like all over the country to a certain extent. But uh, and before you run off, I know that this chart may look or this visual may look busy, but it's everything on here is intentional. And what this allows you to do is, in my opinion, is really digest a lot of information efficiently. So uh, let me just kind of walk through what we're looking at here. Uh, the three charts that are colored the same way, that is non-farm payroll jobs, and that comes from the establishment survey, or otherwise known as current employment statistics, or CES. And then the legend for all three is up at the top right in the year over year chart. And the reason I'm showing it three separate ways is because it's just giving you more information. Uh, those top two charts, those are stacked bar charts for a purpose, because what you're really looking at is the composition of jobs. So think of those in terms of headcount, right? I mean, there's not the same number of jobs within these sectors because look at the space that the color of each of these different sectors is taking up, right? You get that? And then below the stock of jobs is just the year over year change in jobs because, again, there's not the same number of jobs in each sector. And so what we're doing is we're just looking at the rate of change. We're putting everything on the same level playing field. And this one it only has like a 3 year look back, give or take, we'll call it. So, up top, that's like all the way back to 1996, both of these two charts. Well, down here is much more near term. So you're seeing long term trends and you're seeing near term trends. Um, and then on top of that, I've included the unemployment rate along with the 1, 2, and 3 year moving averages for Nashville Metro. And as I've said before, if you're just looking at the unemployment rate and you're saying, hey, it's low, everything is fine, well, then I would just push back and say, do you even know what that means? Do you really know, like, what qualifies somebody as being unemployed or in the labor force? I tend to think that labor force flows are probably the most misunderstood and underappreciated component when it comes to kind of making sense of the unemployment rate. But look, and I'll just highlight really the issue that many of these markets are having, and Nashville is no different. When you don't have broad based uh, participation across these sectors in terms of job growth, that's been a pretty textbook recessionary signal. And as you can see, I really highlighted that in those three various charts. So maybe it's a little bit more obvious. So you see that same trend, just to a lesser extent, around GFC, and it's really that on steroids right now. That's a problem. It's been a pretty textbook recessionary signal going back. So again, you know, as with anything in life, the details matter. And this is just going to prove to be an issue in a lot of these markets. It just kind of is what it is. I mean, we're looking at this thing in as many different ways as possible. And I can configure this a variety of different ways. Here, I've also incorporated, uh, rather than thinking about the composition of jobs, why don't we just show the year over year change in employment from both measures of local jobs. So that's where this additional chart comes in play down here. So LAUS, think of the household survey when you see that, and NFP is going to be the establishment survey, or otherwise known as CES, or current employment statistics. Going back in history, when job growth is this low, the unemployment rate is just going to spike. I mean, we're basically at zero at this point. So it's just not great. it's just, it is what it is, guys. Here, I'll just highlight one more market that this one, man, Minneapolis, they're going to have some serious problems. I mean, literally outside of private education and health services, there is zero job growth in this market. That is just, it's ugly, man. I think people are going to be caught off guard up there. So, best of luck. So anyway, yeah, it is what it is. I don't make the rules. If you'd like to see maybe your market, then yeah, maybe we can do that. Okay, guys, have a good one.